let's settle down now that we got that out of the way. Okay, so I wanted to go live. I'm getting all these text messages and stuff. I'm trying to make sure that they don't come out on the live stream, but whatever. And of course, as always, we need to verify that we're live. So we are live indeed. And whoever's here, please say hello, because that's how I enjoy talking to someone in real time. Oh, what a week. What a month. We had a play that my friend Rick Nahara wonderfully produced and wrote and directed. And it's just phenomenal how it came out. So I've been blessed to have been able to go to Miami and check out the play and just see all the incredible things that were able to be done live. So the play is basically a conversation where a daughter, her dad disappeared for 7 years, and she was turning 15, but he returned. And when he returned, it was 7 years later, and he wants to give her a sweet 15. All hell breaks loose, but comedy ensues, and it was hilarious from beginning to end. Thank you for the like, but say hello, because I don't know who it is. So say hello, please. Just say hi. H-I. That's it. That's all I'm asking for. And so Sweet 15, Que Quinceañera, is basically the name of the show. And so that was the webpage. That's the cast. I was able to build the website for them, and just hilarious. Great superstars. All the actors were phenomenal, and all the actors were from soap operas and movies and TV shows throughout. So that's kind of where that came from. So Ruben Rabasa is one of my favorites. He's been in plenty of movies and TV shows. You may have seen him on television before, and I just was a big fan of the entire production. So props to those guys. They did a great show, and I became a huge fan of all the actors, all the talents in relation to this production. Cool. So now the show's over. They have completed their run, and now we're trying to see if we can continue the show. Oh, I keep forgetting to turn off the air conditioner. But it does get warm in here, so we'll just have to deal with it. If you're interested, you can go to sweet15show.com, and you can watch the testimonials, which is here. Lots of great testimonials. This was just a quick video that I had put together. And yeah, it was just overall fantastic and a fun production. And I'm hoping that there's more to come as time goes on. So here's a little bit of preview.
Everybody. It's a quinceañera. It's in the name.
I need to throw the best quinceañera ever.
So all there was laughter from beginning to end. On the
My brother, it's fantastic.
And yeah, so these are the people who are just raving about the production, and I'm just so glad that it went so well. So that was the Sweet 15. So that was the beginning of my month. And as the month went on, more and more things were happening. We were selling out tickets. It went super well. Now, after that, I had to come back. I had to prepare for NAB. NAB was fantastic. Did a lot of different things at NAB. One of the things that I decided to do at NAB was really establish deeper relationships with all the manufacturers of which I offer their technology for. So everything from YOLOBox, Magewell, which great products, capture cards and stuff like that. And so what I'm realizing is as I go through all the different YouTube videos and that type of thing, is that I find that a lot of content creators all use the same stuff. the same camera, the same microphone, the same lighting setup. The only thing they change is the background. And that's cool. You play it safe. You stay with these tools for years. They're great tools. But at some point, usually the only thing they change is the set, which is the background. And I want to see some growth. I want to see, what's up, Robert? How are you? I want to see some growth in the world of content creators. I want to be able to see that they are understanding the world that they're entering, and that they can increase their engagement by changing the scenario. Now, most content creators are great at telling the story that they're trying to tell or engage the market that they're trying to engage with. And that's fantastic. And I know there's a lot of coaches and a lot of other stuff in relation to that. The world I'm entering in, I thank you very much, Robert. In fact, hold on, let me change the way my little thingamabobs look here. Let me see if I can make it a little bit more interesting. We'll turn that to that color. And so what I'm doing is I'm just changing. No, I don't like that color. I'm just changing the way it looks online. Is that good enough? Let's see. All right, let's see if this makes it. Here we go. Let's see. It's a little improvement, I guess. Just want your words to stand out a little bit more, just kind of customizing that a little bit. And content creators tend to use some of the same technology. Why? Well, there's a lot of content on YouTube, usually with the same technology. And two, when you start feeling safe with the technology because everybody's using it, and you're like, well, there's going to be less hiccups by using this technology that everybody seems to be zooming into, then you're playing it safe, and that's fine. In fact, I do that sometimes. Although right now, this camera that I'm using right now, haven't used it before. In fact, this camera, barely ever use it. And this camera, I almost never use it. So I am the player. I like to play with my technology, and I like to see what results I get from each one. And what's really cool is I end up realizing, wow, this changes the look, the feel, my ability to do certain things. And because of that, when I'm using it professionally, there's more draw, more engagement. And I'm always using just one light. But right now, I want to be able to add more lights. So there's a 3-point lighting. There's lighting where you can have behind you to highlight up your shoulders, all that type of stuff. And some of those techniques that are constantly being talked about are correct. They should be used in that way, and those kind of rules never change. But why not? I like to change things all the time. I like to, you've seen me walking on the street and going live. In fact, I would have done that here today, but I need to establish like a spot where I'm going to be doing specific types of content. But the cool thing of what I plan on doing is the look and feel of every piece of content will be completely different. So, for example, this might be the setup that I'll use to talk about technology, such as part of the conversation today. Now, I'm not going to be talking or reviewing any particular kind of content today, but I will be doing lots of content that you'll find on my website that will relate to that. Now, there are going to be pieces of content that I'll be releasing soon because I've been editing since I've returned from NAB. And at NAB, there's been some great conversations that I've had. So let's see. All right, let me see if I can find one that I'll share here. But what's going to be cool is that it'll be on my website next to the product that they're talking about. So here's one of the pieces of content that I thought was fantastic. Not the content itself, but some of the features that are coming out soon. Here we go. And I'm going to raise that volume. Let's hope that
innovation, engineered for computational videography, shaping the future of live video. Industry's first camera that adopts the large language model for videography. Trained with billions of video data points, it elevates the automatic enhancements to an unprecedented level. Experience a noticeable leap in quality without the complexities that come with a traditional mirrorless camera. Our on-camera AI-driven computational videography increases dynamic range, reduces noise, and makes your video look stunning. Video quality is king. For this reason, we employ a professional 4/3-inch Sony IMX image sensor. Plus our AI capabilities, you can easily achieve professional mirrorless camera quality with simplicity. A proper lens helps to replicate a broadcaster-level background blur effect or a bokeh effect. The built-in laser with time-of-flight focusing technology provides an instantaneous autofocus in milliseconds. It can run 24/7 without downtime. The entire camera body is made of aluminum alloy for large space structure cooling. Who is AlphaCam being built for? The AlphaCam will offer value to a range of videographers, creators, business owners, and marketing executives. Which one are you? AlphaCam, a real camera that empowers videographers and creators for the next decade.
What's new about this product is it has a full HDMI input, it supports 4K streaming, and it has the also recording, and it's the best CPU it has. And you can do, it's a monitor, recorder, and a switcher in one, encoder in one. And you can do live switch. And it's also a graphic generator. It's streamed simultaneously to multiple platforms, and you can add overlays and see the rolling captions, social overlays. And a recent new feature is a multi-camera replay, which is perfect for sports. Inviting guests, you can send a link to someone anywhere in the world, and when they receive that, you can add a remote guest. The scoreboard, everyone knows, we added some new templates here. The main theme for this booth is it's not YOLObox yet, it's a live streaming ecosystem beyond YOLObox. So what else we have here? It's the AlphaCam. So it's our Micro Four Thirds camera with the interchangeable lens with the super fast in the focus that Carlos will add a B-roll, probably a B-roll, to show how fast this autofocus does. And it supports both the HDMI out and the USB out. And it has a Sony sensor with a very high dynamic range, and it has the dual native ISO. What's a great thing about this is actually it's about wirelessly connection to the YOLObox. So if you want to create a portable multi-camera live streaming, wireless live streaming systems, the YOLObox Ultra and the AlphaCam, 3 AlphaCam will be a great kit.
Okay, so that just gives you a glimpse of some of the stuff I've been working on. I'm allowing the people who actually make the tools explain their tools. And another thing it does is help me establish tighter relationships with the manufacturers. So why is that important for me? Well, for one, I want to increase sales on my site. Now, am I competing with Amazon? No. But what I am doing is trying to show that I actually do engage with the manufacturers, where you don't see that kind of engagement from B&H Photo or Adorama or some of the other platforms that are able to sell you this same equipment for basically the same pricing. I actually try to beat them in price as best as I can without breaking any rules. So that's part of the thing is all the manufacturers control the pricing. And so when you go to a store or you go to some of the websites to buy the equipment, I mean, I'm selling it for basically the same price. The key difference is I'm available to advise how everything works together, mostly because you've seen me test forever. And a lot of what I test, I use. Now, there's going to be stuff that I've not tested and other equipment that I offer on the webpage that I offer, but I have not been able to demonstrate to you guys like every aspect of a tool. An example. So here, for example, I'm going to go to the Verticam. So the Verticam is one of those tools that I'm actually using right now. This is the camera that you're seeing right now is this camera. And so if you think that the camera is nice and sharp, then it's because they did a great job with their optics and so on. Now, this is the setup of the camera. You can see the back of the camera here, and it is robust. It has your HDMI, it has your USB, it has your RS-232, which allows you to control it with a controller, and then you got your line in, which means I can plug in a microphone directly to it and then plug it into whatever streaming device you want. So you can have a professional audio microphone inside to the line in, whether it's a mixer, right? And then you're able to connect it to your eCam or your StreamYard or whatever else you plan on using. And what's great is that you have a remote control, which I have right here. So with the remote control, and I'll show you how quickly. Now, one of the cool things you'll notice is how quickly it focused, right? So this camera, super high focus, and so it does have product focusing. And what you're capable of doing is using these top buttons up here. You're able to program this camera to zoom into a certain area. Because it is basically a pan, tilt, and zoom, this camera is able to do your pan, tilt, and zoom. Now, here's what's different about this camera compared to all other cameras available, literally all other cameras. This camera is the only camera in the entire market that can shoot vertically. So I use these cameras for TikTok, for Instagram, and you can have it upright. So the way you see it right there, it's going to give you your 9:16 ratio, not 16:9, and you're able to create professional looking streams to TikTok, Instagram. You can even do it for Facebook, Zoom, and so on as a PTZ camera, but it's super focused, great, sharp. You can see what the quality looks like right here, right now, right? And you're able to see the fact that it gives you beautiful color quality. You're able to control the brightness, the f-stops, the whole 9 yards. You have manual controls, all controllable through this remote. And you can program different points that you want it to be able to zoom into. Of course, it has an optical zoom lens. So most cameras that people use don't have optical zoom. For example, not only optical zoom, but controllable optical zoom. So I'm going to show you, that I can zoom in and out all real time as I'm using the camera, right? From a distance. I don't need a cameraman to do it, and so on. So most of the cameras that I use don't even have zoom. Like if you're using your iPhone, you can have optical zoom or the switch lenses zoom. But even then, you have to touch the phone. The camera, I can totally reach out. I still can't reach the camera. So the camera's a distance away from me. But I can make it even further away and still zoom in, and it's going to look beautiful and sharp. So that's just an example of some of the technologies that I offer that you don't commonly see anywhere else. And that's one of the key things that I'm looking to do is offer technology that is high quality. And all the specs, if you go to the webpage, you'll be able to read the details. It's got a 12-time zoom vertical camera for PTZ. You can compete with, let's say, PTZ optics and things of that nature, which if you go into my website and go to not collections but catalog, you'll see that I also carry what I just mentioned, PTZ optics. So in PTZ optics, we have some more powerful cameras with 20-time zoom. I even have cameras that might go up to 30-time zoom. but the flexibility of each camera, each one is going to have its incredible tool set of features that, some cameras may offer, some cameras may not. And so at NAB, I'm able to negotiate other deals with other manufacturers and then offer you even more tools that some other stores may not carry because they may not understand the market. They may not see who it would apply to, and they don't take the risk. I get to test and check all the different platforms and all the different cameras and all the different streaming platforms, and I get to pick and choose what I want to be able to offer to you guys. And so that's one of the key things about what I'm trying to do is make it easier for you to understand that there's not just one option for one thing, and there's just not one brand for one thing. There's a lot of options, and you're capable of accessing those options, and I'm trying to offer all that for you. So let's see. What else can I tell you about? So there are other PTZ cameras that I will be offering. So an example here. So we have the Tiny, right? That's a small little kind of AI-based PTZ camera. Then I have the Tail, which is a higher end NDI or USB-C camera that you can remote control with some other new devices. And then we have the PTZ Optics Move 4K, which is their high-end, top-of-the-line, beautiful camera with AI technology in it, and so on. So if you notice, and then here's some of the controllers. Now, these controllers, instead of using the remote control like this, you have much more robust control. You have much more robust control with something like this, and you can have much more pre-programmed options on your camera stuff. Some of them will even work with a network. So let me go back. That's the Superjoy. Superjoy is a pretty popular product. And why can't I go back? There we go. I also have Bird Dog, which is an amazing brand. They have grown exponentially. I've been with them since the beginning, and every year they just impress me more and more. For example, some of these are weatherproof, so they're great for those who are doing outdoor sports. Throw it on a tripod that's really tall, and you can do your baseball coverage. And then, of course, there's cameras like this from PTZ Optics, where it's a fixed camera, it doesn't move, but the zoom capabilities and the detail is so high that you can crop the wide image and still zoom in and pre-program the different crops that you want to have for your broadcast. So I can go on and on about that. So I've been fortunate to be able to offer technology that I understand, that I know I can translate to you guys as you're going into your adventure of what do I want to use to do the type of content that I want to do. And if you strictly rely on YouTube for some of that content, you're going to end up having the same thing that everybody else has, which is fine. It's perfectly fine. You know, it's a way of playing it safe, and that's cool. But if you're looking to do something different because you have the creativity to say, you know what, I want to do a different way of covering sports, or I want to do a smaller way of having a way of traveling to the school to do a broadcast of their play or a recording of their play, or whatever other ideas you may have, because content creation is now a business, right? Being able to broadcast through these platforms is a business now. And there's so many options that even I can't carry everything. But what I do carry are the things that might benefit you as a wedding photographer, a wedding videographer, a person who's streaming from a funeral, but you don't want to be like in front of everybody. You want to kind of be hidden so that it's not so odd and unusual that you're streaming a live streamer is just watching. Welcome. so that you're not feeling a little awkward in your production. Because sometimes with some equipment, you're like trying to get in the front row of the auditorium. That might not be the best place. Now, some churches, you have your cameras all the way in the back, as an example, because you are not wanting to block anybody who's trying to see the mass that's happening at the church. So PTZ Optics is always a great sale for the churches. They get to put the cameras against the wall, somewhere hidden where people can't really see it or don't really notice it. It's not in their way. But you are able to be in the back, control those cameras, follow the preacher, have microphones and audio that's great, and all that type of stuff. The key is which tools would be befitting to the size of the church, the type of church, the electronics of the church, and so on, as an example. So those are the kind of things that I get into conversations about. But I want to expand. I want to be able to reach out to more. And I sell nationwide. The warehouses that I have are on the East Coast and on the West Coast. So delivery times are much quicker now. The West Coast is a new warehouse, and so we're able to ship quicker from there. And there's other equipment that I'll be offering now that I'm negotiating these deals, thanks to NAB, where there'll be pieces of equipment that you've never seen or heard before because they're literally brand new, like the camera I just showed in the video earlier now. That camera's not even available, but I'm showing it to you so that you know that soon that type of camera's coming out, and it might fit whatever your production needs are. So those are some of the stuff that I was meaning by technology is changing so fast. Every year we got a new tool. And every year that tool lets you do things that you never thought you could even do. And it might have been an idea you had last year, but it just wasn't available or it wasn't affordable yet. Well, all these companies are competing with each other in ways that, like, it's mind-blowing. And I remember when I started with YOLO, and I was representing YOLO because they couldn't fly in because of COVID. One of the key things that occurred is companies like the ATEM came to my table. They weren't happy that the YOLO was able to do even more than what their product was able to do at a lower cost with no need of a computer, as an example. So I like showing off stuff that people are like, wait, how's he doing that? I like being able to do, oh, did I freeze? Okay, for a second I thought I froze. I like being able to use tools that don't cost a lot, but you're able to do more than you ever thought you could do at a lower cost. And one of the things I'd like to do is prevent you from having to pay a monthly fee for some of those tools. Now, some of the higher end tools, if you're really trying to get into like news broadcast or some really high end stuff, which I offer, I sell, for example, vMix. So let me quickly show you what that looks like. I also sell lots of encoders, totally different software options. There's some things that I have to remove from my website because we no longer offer some of the tools, but that happens all the time. So, oh no, that's just the controllers. Let me get into, where are you? There we go. So here, for example, this is a great box. For those who like the higher end software and hardware, this is for vMix. Now, I sell vMix, just the application by itself. Usually I sell it to, when I'm talking to companies person to person. I don't really like to offer the software on the webpage. But this comes with the high-end version of vMix. You can see here that you got all professional cable connections. So if you're looking to be pro, and you don't want to show up at a venue with just your laptop and a bunch of little cables that connect cameras and all that type of stuff. What's up, Robert? Something like this has a screen on the side of the device. You can see it there. So you can walk in. It has a handle on the top. Let me tap on that. And let me go to that image. So you can see that you can just walk in. Still look professional. Walk in, your monitor is now part of the box, and the whole computer system is built into the box. And we have controllers that vary in size and shape and whatever. Hello. What's going on, Robert? So something like this will allow you to have up to 8 professional cameras. So if you're doing broadcast news, a broadcast, NFL game, and I'm exaggerating a little bit because usually they use TriCasters. This is a great competitor to TriCaster. But you're able to have professional video, which are the SDI connections. So if you're buying high-end, super high-end cameras, we offer that. And then here's your audio. So you have professional audio inputs. You can even do musical instruments if you want, but you would have like a big professional mixer with an XLR out that you can plug into this, up to 2 connections, or if you just want to have microphones directly plugged into it, you can do that. So here is, and like I said, it comes with the vMix application as part of the package. And you can see all the specs on the webpage if you're interested in that. And of course, this is what the application looks like. You can, of course, because of the version of vMix that it comes with, you're able to bring in guests, just like most of the applications that I offer are capable of doing. You can do your 4K, you can do your multi-channel broadcasting, and I can go on and on and on. So again, part of the mix. Now I'm going to put another, here's some of the controllers you can use with that box. So you can go as nuts as you want if you really want to go bonkers. If you're a pro, if you're doing a church or if you're doing something like lower production, you have these controllers here. These are compatible with vMix. And they also use central control. If you're familiar with that, then you're ahead of the game because central control allows you to basically have a variety of different controllers control your vMix or other applications that are available. So I hope I'm not confusing people. The point is, there's a lot out there, and if you're trying to do this as a profession, if you're a videographer, if you're doing convention center stuff, if you're doing churches, if you're doing, all sorts of potential money-making endeavors, there's lots of tools that you may not even be familiar with. So I'm going to be creating content, hopefully introducing you to more and more things that allow you to know, what, that's what I've been looking for. Some items might only support 4 cameras. I just showed you one that does 8, right? And it also supports NDI. So now you can go from 8 to like maybe 15 cameras. You can go bonkers. And different productions have different requirements. I'm basically demonstrating all the different things you can find for flexibility. And when you're being approached to do productions, you don't have to say no because you bought the wrong tools. That's it. That's kind of what this conversation's about. Because, people see me using one tool, and I may be talking a lot about that tool a lot, but that tool doesn't cover the spectrum of possibilities. It might. Like even now, I'm using the Ultra Yellow Box right now. I don't even have a computer anywhere around here, with the exception of my iPad. And what's crazy is the iPad is not physically connected to this. It's using NDI. So with NDI, which the Ultra supports, you can probably do 9 or 10 cameras on the Ultra and still have 3 hours of battery life walking around and have small cameras, big cameras, all sorts of cameras, or even laptops or iPads or whatever wirelessly plugged into it. And you can do a full-blown production that you never knew you could do, etc. So what's up, Robert? What's up, Robert? I got 2 Roberts live here. And of course, even with the Ultra, I'm able to send out an email, have you guys join the show and have a conversation, right? With the most minimal amount of equipment possible. I could be walking in the street with this equipment and still invite you as a guest. And as I'm walking down the street, I'm basically having a full-blown interview, professional with graphics and the whole 9 yards. So those are the kind of things that I like to, explain to you guys as to what you're capable of accomplishing with the lowest possible budget. And I always say the lowest possible budget because even though I sell the high-end stuff, some of this equipment I may have shown you. Hold on, let me see if I can quickly go back. So I'm going to go back to the vMix all-in-one solution. So, this is not for the faint of heart. If you're doing professional work, I mean, that's just your initial, right? Now we have the smaller version, which supports 4 cameras, and that's still at almost $10,000. But keep in mind that also includes the licensing for a year, and you continue paying the licenses every year. The YOLO box, as an example, which is not as high-end as this, basically allows you to do multi-streaming, multi-camera, all the full production stuff that I've mentioned of the professional setup. But I don't think you're going to walk in with a YOLO box to a convention center. You might, but that's not the tool I would recommend, because they're going to look at you and say, what are you doing? But for a product that's $1,500, you can still have all those cameras. You can still invite guests. You can still do graphics. Here I'll do an animated graphic that I was intending to do for NAB, and it just didn't, work out that way. There it is, and it's all animated and all that type of stuff. You're capable of doing all sorts of things. But what's cool is that with a YOLO box, as an example, you don't need to pay a monthly fee. Once you make your initial investment, all right, so the question, so perfect. This is great for Q&A. So what services can you eliminate with the YOLO box? So give me an example of services that you're talking about. Well, one, if you're using StreamYard, well, that's gone. You don't have to pay a monthly fee anymore. You still have your camera, your computer, all that type of stuff. Other things you can eliminate. You don't need a computer. So if you're looking to update or upgrade to a computer, Ecamm, easily. So right now I'm doing everything that Ecamm can do. I got the picture-in-picture here. I can bring my graphic elements. Here, for example, I have another graphic element. You can put your logos. I can put web graphics, which I don't think I've ever done with Ecamm. Now, I'm a fan of Ecamm, just to be clear. I use Ecamm heavily, especially when I do my podcasts. And I have my reasons. I just got used to using Ecamm when I do my podcast. Can I do my podcast here? Yes. So, for example, Robert, so here I had my graphic when it was in Vegas, was intending to go live in Vegas, and it'll show, real time and all that type of stuff. And I also had the ability of showing the temperature and that type of stuff. I was really looking to do something fantastic in Vegas. The catch was that I noticed when I was walking up to tables in Vegas, nobody was really ready to have a conversation. So I decided to just record, and I showed a video a little bit earlier. So an example, one of the things that I just did was show off a video or, show off websites. So, yes, you could do this in Ecamm, right? So there's a website I built for a play that occurred in Miami, and you probably see me promote the heck out of it. What's up, Charles? How are you? So here's an example. So Charles is a person that is in charge of Tough Signal. And Tough Signal is one of the products that we offer in our webpage. So Ecamm is not something you're going to walk around with, right? You're not going to walk around with Ecamm, a laptop at a convention center or I don't know, a festival of some sort. With the Tough Signal, I can have the YOLO Live, for example, be a very portable truck. Meaning this device will give me internet connection using cellular literally almost anywhere you want. Where with Ecamm, you'd have to try to carry, you have to carry a laptop. That right there is making it cumbersome. Plugging in your cameras to the laptop also is cumbersome. I can have 9 products plugged into here, 4 cameras, 4, 5, 6 cameras, actually, 7 cameras. So I can have physical 7 cameras plugged into this device. And then using NDI, probably another 5. Plus I can bring up to 5 guests virtually. So you count each one as a camera. So that's 5, 7, 8, 9, 10. So you can have like 10 cameras. Plus, one other thing you could do with the YOLO box is have another YOLO box in another part of the convention center and access them as a camera. I can go on and on. The YOLO box is a different animal altogether. Ecamm just can't really challenge it in almost any way. One thing that Ecamm is great at, the scenes. I like using the scenes in Ecamm, but you can kind of create scenes here. So, I'm trying to say Ecamm's better, but by how much is the question? So, here, for example, let me just do something really quick. So I just created a scene right here, and it's a little bit weird. There you go. So here, I can have 3 guests simultaneously. Any of these could be cameras that are pointed to a guest. If you have a live multi-camera production with multiple guests on location, or I can actually take one of these boxes and have one of those boxes be the guest that's virtual. So, Ecamm is one that could be easily replaced, technically speaking, and there's no monthly fee. Not only that, but what else can I tell you? The guests you can do, I could do all live real time. So let's say, Robert, I had your email. I can send you an email right now. You can join just like you would a Zoom or anything like that, or Ecamm for that matter. And we'd be side by side talking. And just using the physical box that I have, I'm able to do all the same type of things you would normally do with Ecamm. With Ecamm, though, you do have to have a lot of prep. If you're going to do overlays and graphics and stuff like that, you want to prepare all that well in advance so that way you can create your scenes. Here, you just saw how quick I was able to do my 3-camera setup. I can have, for example, let's say I have another layout here where I can have, and I'm going to do it right now, and I'll do the same type of background there. So here we are. Instantly now I'm able to show you the web page in real time while I'm also on camera. Did it in 2 seconds. So that's an example. Now, again, Tough Signal is one of my babies. It's one of the products that I really love to show off because I can be in the middle of a park or out in the woods or hiking somewhere and just decide to go live from there and still do a full-blown multi-camera setup on location with this box. And I can do a deep dive on what this is capable of doing. But again, feel free to go to the webpage, livestreamingmaster.com, which is spelled like such. And, now another thing that's really nice about the YOLO is its capability of doing ISO recording. So Ecamm, which one of the features that Ecamm had, which was ISO recording, individual recording of each camera as a file, well, you can do that also on the Ultra. So you're able to record this live, and I'm able to record every individual camera separately, access those files because I'm recording onto an SD drive, or you can plug it into something like this. Let me see if I can quickly switch. Something like this. So here, this is a Crucial. I also have a Samsung SSD drive. Plug in USB-C right into the YOLO box, and now I can record directly into that. And then plug into a computer, access those individual cameras, and start doing some editing. So there you have it. What's cool on the version with, StreamYard, they also have some kind of ISO camera recording. What it does is it records the guest on their side, and you're recording your camera on your side. And then what happens is when the show is over, it gives you access to that recording from the other person. You have to download it, and then eventually you can edit that too. But, so one thing I can tell you about having gone to NAB is the amount of products. The show is so huge. There's so many products that obviously I can't carry every product, and I don't intend to. I'm looking really for the products that a new content creator or a new business or let's say a new church or a new school or people who are just starting to want to get into media that they can get into very easily. I can train them on how to use all the equipment, on how to be presentable on camera, and go from there with the least amount of complexity possible. At the same time, I offer the high-end tools, such as, for example, this box, I would consider high-end, right? It's not super overly priced compared to satellite. If you have a satellite truck, if you're NBC and you're broadcasting your news with satellite trucks, well, the suitcase is a little bit easier and you can put it in any vehicle. So now you can turn any vehicle into, let's say, a satellite truck. And what's really cool is any independent broadcaster or any independent company can now become a broadcaster immediately. So imagine you're starting a business. You're like, you know what? I don't trust the news media, whatever. And you're like, I'm going to have a bunch of reporters join an independent news network that we create. And the expenses of trying to do a broadcast is pretty high. But using tools like this, completely accessible, totally accessible. If you're trying to get an investor and say, hey, look, we're going to be using these boxes instead of a satellite truck because the satellite costs are so ridiculously expensive, a box like this can replace that. And I can have countless other tools that will allow them to do the graphics, the elements. This could be a news network right now. I can say, hey, news, this is a brand new box. I'm terrible at news announcing, but this could be a news interview with these animated graphics and that type of stuff. So I think I'm rambling at this point. But I'm really enjoying the process of seeing what's coming out, being able to offer it, being able to talk to new content creators or even content creators that just want to level up and offer them the technology that they need to really level up and compete. So that's where I'm coming from, and I hope that it's something that comes through in my conversing with you guys. Cool. Any other questions, Robert? I really enjoy being able to at least tackle some of the questions. You're very welcome for the examples. Now let me increase that size. Is there a way to increase this size? Let's see if I can make this a little bit bigger. Hit that. Let's see if that... Okay, that's a little better, I guess. Just that sometimes when I'm looking at the cell phone, the comments look really tiny. So being able to maneuver that is part of the fun. Hey, you're welcome, Robert. So, all right, guys, I think that kind of ends this episode. I'm hoping that at least I'll increase some traffic to the website, but I'll be adding more tools and more stuff to the webpage. One of the things that I wanted to kind of address, a lot of people are creating a ton of content. And one of the things that they don't realize is that content uses a lot of hard drive space. So I'm going to be focusing heavily on hard drives. I don't know if I have them all laid out yet, but I'm going to be offering a lot more brands of drives than I have before, because it's very important that you guys know that you have your portable drives, you have your Thunderbolt drives, and if you're video editing a lot, then I have the option to offer you practically servers, also RAID drives, if you know what that is, and then of course you got your small portable, kind of like what I was just showing you. I don't offer the Crucial, but I have competitors to the Crucial, which I'll be showing on the website soon. So Robert is saying, I'm still learning how to use my new iPhone 12 Pro. Enjoy it. Use all I can recommend in terms of using the iPhone 12, which I used to have before my iPhone 15, is that learn how to use light, play with all the different lenses and learn their limitations. Zoom in, zoom out, and learn how to smoothly do that in case you ever want to do a nice smooth shot. Walk with the camera to show what kind of stability it has, stabilization, because usually what happens is it shows the stabilization after you've recorded it. Sometimes people are recording and they're like, this isn't stable. Look, it's all the shaking. I still see it. What it does is it does it after the fact sometimes. And it's just the beginning. The 12 is just the beginning of some of the higher end features that started occurring. So I love those pictures you take. Yeah, I started taking pictures with the 12, and then now I do it with the 15. One thing, basically everything I just mentioned is what I do before I take a picture. So I do a lot of food photography just for the hell of it. I don't do it as a profession at all. I just like, in fact, what I'm telling you to do is my experimentation. Food is a big experiment. All these restaurants have different lighting. And what I do is I'll just get the best angle I can get. I focus on one particular piece of food because the rest might get blurry if you get it really close. And as long as one part of the food is in focus, the camera should automatically detect how much exposure it should do. And hopefully the lighting is just enough. Because sometimes the waiters or the restaurant owners will look at what I'm shooting, which is their food, and they look at me like, how did you get a shot like that when the guy, photographer, and it's because I'm just using the natural light that the restaurant offers. Obviously, I'm not lighting any of the food. And lighting is a big deal when it comes to food photography. So the more you practice with the light and, you just adjust the plates and whatever, you start kind of getting an idea of what lighting looks better. And so, again, shooting and practicing and practicing and practicing, which is why you see me practicing live on my platform, on my channel here. But that's the only thing I can suggest to you. And then once you go to a different camera, you now have a better idea of how lighting really affects everything. So lighting is the weapon, and shoot away. Enjoy it. All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add more hard drive stuff, more server stuff, more, let me see, encoders. Encoders is like a big deal because you can almost use any tool. In fact, let me quickly show you. Let me take out this camera here. So I'm trying to see if I can renegotiate something with RGB Link. So here, for example, is an RGB Link switcher. And all it is a switcher. It doesn't stream or anything like that. But it does have like an output that you can plug into your eCam or whatever. So you don't have a YOLO? Cool. You want to have 4 cameras? You can get a box like this where you have multi-cameras, you have multi-camera switching by pressing the big buttons. And now you have switching on your Zoom, you have switching on your eCam, you have switching on any production you want. Now you can do the same thing with the YOLO. The YOLO will output to USB to any computer, and it'll become a webcam. And whatever production that I'm doing here would be showing up in the Zoom or whatever. So that's just an example. Another thing the Ultra has is the ability to stream to TikTok and Instagram without having to use the Instagram producer software, all that type of jazz. You're just streaming directly to them with these vertical cameras that I just showed. And you're able to do the graphics and all type of stuff. You can bring in a guest, with another camera, and you can go on and on and on. So there you have it. Okay, so I'll be doing other content similar to this, focusing specifically on specific tools. So just like I showed the video earlier, showing off the YOLO box and the new Alpha Cam that they'll be launching, I'll be doing other content specifying specific pieces of equipment. And then those videos will be next to the equipment on the website so that you can see, the relationship and probably show other scenarios as to where you can use that technology rather than just having some beautiful little, 3D animated thing showing off all the connections and stuff. Connections and specs is great, but understanding in-use cases is going to be important because even though you understand the specs, it doesn't mean that you can go out into the field and take these cameras. These cameras, for example, need power. So if you want to do an outdoor using PTZ cameras, you're not going to use these cameras. You're going to use, let's say, the tail. So if I go to the OBSBot portion of my website, which it's in alphabetical order here, and then you can use something like the tail, which has a battery, right? So inside there's a battery, and that means you can actually go outside with, let's say, the YOLO box and actually produce content with a battery-powered camera that has the ability of having artificial intelligence and following you and having great audio and great video, Zoom capabilities, stuff that you just normally don't have when you're a one-man show. So, that's just food for thought. And I'm going to be doing more scenarios like that in the future. So thanks for watching, everybody. Hope you have a wonderful day, a whole wonderful week. Feel free to check out the webpage, livestreamingmaster.com, where you're going to be able to do all sorts of content, right? Such as your YouTube videos, training videos, your courses, your church functions and sporting events. That's kind of all the different types of stuff that we focus on. And that's it. So talk to you soon. Have a wonderful day. And